If you ask most people what their number one fear is, what do you think it is? Most people's number one fear is public humiliation. Okay. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not afraid of it.
Mel Gibson's latest film, Sound of Freedom, is creating a buzz in Hollywood. From starring in Mad Max and Braveheart to winning an Oscar as a director, he was once a Hollywood favorite. However, 6 years ago, in an interview with John Lithgow, Gibson openly discussed his views on woke culture.
I've never seen Hollywood quite so shaken by anything.
It's a little late.
So we'll see how it all shakes down. Hopefully it clears the air a little bit.
Woke culture began as a movement for social justice, but Mel Gibson sees it as a force stifling creativity and silencing voices, something he's grown increasingly frustrated with.
Generally passively sit by and tolerate any kind of nonsense, but if one of their priests utters something that resembles orthodoxy, well then they spring into action, they reprimand him, and they bully him and do their best to cancel him. And it succeed. They drum him out of the service, off he goes.
That's what sets the film, which Mel Gibson executive produced, apart. It's gritty, unsettling, and doesn't conform to the sanitized, polished narratives Hollywood typically favors. From the beginning, major studios distanced themselves, hoping it would fade away. But Gibson had other plans. Instead of giving in, he and his team executed a genius move, a staggered international release that was not just smart, but ingenious.
The social contract. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be fucked over at some point.
The film's gradual release kept interest high, ensuring Sound of Freedom wasn't just viewed. It ignited ongoing discussions and debates.
Sound of Freedom is smashing it at the box office and is being attacked continually by the mainstream. Is that because it's a box office success?
More importantly, it made people question why Hollywood was so afraid of this story. The film's influence has been immense, not just for its compelling message. Sound of Freedom symbolizes something greater, a bold defiance against Hollywood's woke agenda with Mel Gibson at the helm. Hollywood's response? They didn't just turn a blind eye, they actively tried to suppress it, hoping to silence its growing impact.
The recruiters weren't the guys. It wasn't some weird dude in a mask, glasses, and a white van. It was a woman. It was a non-threatening person. So this 17-year-old girl recruits this 10-year-old and was horrified what happened. So she promises this girl candy and ice cream. But what she finds is a bunch of guys that kidnapped her, shot her full of fentanyl, and she had to hear this 10-year-old girl for the next 2 hours gang rape.
Even Kanye quickly pointed out the controversy, but Mel Gibson didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down, becoming the film's most vocal advocate. He openly criticized the industry for its hypocrisy, claiming to champion social causes, yet staying silent on child trafficking. Mel's mission didn't stop there. In interviews, he's been clear that Hollywood is now more focused on pushing an agenda than telling authentic stories. If you don't play by their rules, you're cast aside. But Mel, who's faced this before, has returned stronger than ever. His biggest issue with Hollywood? The blatant hypocrisy it constantly displays.
That's how this town has been running for so long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
Even Kanye quickly pointed out the controversy, but Mel Gibson didn't back. The same Hollywood elite who are quick to cancel anyone stepping out of line are the ones who look the other way when it's convenient for them. In an old interview, Mel Gibson even called out a producer for their hypocrisy. As for Sound of Freedom, the reactions were mixed. While some praised the film's boldness, many within the industry dismissed it as fear-mongering. Why? Because it didn't fit the woke narrative Hollywood prefers. However, Hollywood's attempts to suppress the film only backfired. The more they tried to ignore it, the more attention it gained. People started asking questions, and the answers weren't flattering for the industry. An industry that prides itself on promoting justice was more concerned with protecting its image than addressing real-world issues. Mel Gibson isn't just another filmmaker. He's the one willing to stand up to Hollywood's woke establishment and say, "I'm doing things my way." While the industry continues to produce films that check off all the politically correct boxes, Gibson focuses on creating stories that challenge audiences, push boundaries, and spark conversation. Take Hacksaw Ridge, for instance. The film tells the true story of a man who saved 75 soldiers during World War II without ever firing a shot. It's raw, emotional, and doesn't sugarcoat the brutal realities of war. This wasn't typical Hollywood fluff. It was real, intense, and unfiltered. Critics raved, audiences flocked, and Mel earned yet another Oscar nomination. But more than that, it proved audiences crave real stories, not just sanitized, politically correct narratives. Now, with The Passion of the Christ, Resurrection on the horizon, Gibson is pushing the envelope even further. Expected to be just as controversial, if not more, than the original, this deeply religious film embraces Christian themes in a way rarely seen in modern Hollywood. With this bold move, Mel is making it clear he's unafraid of the backlash, and it seems many actors are standing by his side.
From beginning to end, it's very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa. Whoa.
Let's be real. Hollywood isn't pleased with any of this. The industry is riddled with double standards, and Mel Gibson is shining a light on them for the world to see. When one of their own faces controversy, Hollywood rushes to protect them. But when someone like Mel goes against the grain, they're quick to attack and silence him. Take Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for instance. When rumors surfaced accusing him of involvement in a child kidnapping conspiracy, Hollywood stood by him, highlighting the selective outrage and hypocrisy within the industry.
In today's easy cancel culture world, and cancel culture, woke culture, this culture, that culture, division, etc., that really bugs me.
Reactions in Hollywood have been divided. Some support him while others keep their distance, yet the backlash remains muted. In contrast, Mel Gibson faces intense scrutiny whenever he critiques woke culture, highlighting a clear double standard. However, Mel remains defiant. After witnessing the darker aspects of Hollywood, he's committed to voicing his truths. Despite past controversies and being ostracized, he's emerged with renewed determination.
Actually, I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, he told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness.
It's about defending his principles, even if it means opposing popular opinion. In a world that often praises conformity, that level of defiance deserves recognition. So, what's your take? Is Mel Gibson a hero for challenging woke culture? Or is he simply disconnected from today's reality? Share your thoughts in comments, and don't forget to press the bell icon and subscribe for more updates.